Um, what are the lessons that those who are enablers today, or what are some of the lessons we can draw from Mr. Frundi's political opinion as we navigate our way towards freedom? Maybe I should start with you, Barrister Mbesa.
Well, I hope we are not starting with Roman. Now, let me
Unless you
put my
want to be
position.
wrong.
Well, I'm trying to explain why I might be wrong. Uh, I think the title itself gives me concern. Nifrundi is not an enabler. No. An enabler is a team member,
Maybe you want to
one
sit
time.
a little bit ahead so we can see you better, Barrister
Yeah,
Team.
an, an enabler, by my own definition, is a team member, one time team member who tends to become an enemy. And I think, by my own opinion, Mr. Frundi has never been a team member for Ambazonia from day one. Yes, those who conceived the SDF might have thought about that, but the leadership went to wrong man, who has never for a moment tried to think that he was defending Ambazonia. No? So I call him not an enabler, I call him an enemy. And let me cure up from what you just said. The people in Bamenda, I'm sorry to say, by my own opinion, are not despising Nifrundi. No. Nifrundi despised the people of Bamenda, not the people of Bamenda despising him. When Mr. Nifrundi was alive, he made his choices. I would not need to impose our will on him. For example, he chose to despise his own hometown Bamenda, and he chose to go and stay in Yaoundé, in a place he thought was more comfortable for him than his own hometown. So if I were there, what would I be telling his brothers and sisters who are alive in Bamenda? Brothers and sisters who are sorry for his death, but let him rest in peace where he chose to be. Those who want to mourn him can go to his mansion in Yaoundé and mourn him there. Again, I think Nifrundi, for me, was just a fortune seeker. He was not a politician. All what he could say about politics is that if he won the country, if he won the election, he will form a federation. But he never defined how that federation was going to defend the interests of Ambazonians. Never. The idea of federation is just too vague. And so he was not going to form a federation in our interest. He was going to form a federation in his own way of doing things. And I think when I had the opportunity, when Bandam was alive, I think 2002, I addressed this issue with him. How will you do these things from a Yaoundé position where you are the minority Anglophone? If there are 20 ministers, 15 of them will be Francophones. If there are 100 persons at the presidency, 80 will be Francophones if we're democratic. How are you going to impose your federation on them? He had no answer. And let me say again, the 1961 so-called federation that was so much despised, I would call it not federation at all, at least had something that could protect us as Anglophones, as English speaking, as an entity. They had in Article 47 that they could not change the character of the country by way of changing the changing the federation status, the federal status of the country. That was ruled out. But again in 47, 3, they could amend the constitution other than changing the federal character of the constitution. They could amend the constitution in other aspects to protect them. If they want to amend the constitution, any part of it, that will require a simple majority of parliament. But that simple majority must include the majority of each of the federated states. In that assembly, there were 50 members of the federal parliamentarians. And Anglophones, let us call them like this, were only 10. So to pass anything there that would change the constitution, they're required to have six of them voting for it. Otherwise, it will not pass. There was some type of minimal protection. And so that said, let me go back to Mr. Nifrundi because that's where we are. I call him a
Yes.
fortune seeker. He's a fortune seeker.
You have called him
This
two
is the man.
major things. You have called him two major things: a fortune seeker, or fortune seeking, and you've also said it is too gracious for us to call him an enabler. He was an enemy.
Yes, I've said
I
so.
took note of
And
those things.
let me go to his fortune seeking capacities. This is a man who rose to the level of chairman of a party. He had no other income. He had nothing doing other than selling in a bookshop. The bookshop that I had the opportunity to visit many times before 1990. The whole overall capital of that bookshop was not even up to 500,000. But where does Mr. Nifundi stand today in terms of money? I think he should be one of the richest people in Amazonia, who rose from nowhere to building mansions at the commercial avenue for money, who rose from nowhere to owning ranches all over the country, who rose from nowhere to building mansions out of pocket in Yaoundé. Where did he get this money? What was his paid job? Mr. Nifrundi is the only man I can remember, a party leader who was placed on some direct or indirect government salary. For every election that they participated, he received 250 million or something around that amount. We wish he used it for himself.
Wow.
He was the only MP, the only party leader who, when he had the peak of his power with 40 something parliamentarians, who were paying him per diem just for standing elections under his party. And above all,
Like seriously.
and above all, I don't know any other Ambazonia, politicians and non-politicians alike, who has enjoyed the largest of Yaoundé up to the standard of Mr. Frundi. This is Frundi, is not a government worker, talk less of his wife or wife. This is Frundi, whose wife is sick. We have Ambazonians who have been very sick, even government officials. And he has the largest of his wife being taken care of, being sent to the hospital in Switzerland. And she's dead, she's brought back, and her burial is taken care of by the state. This is Mr. Nifrundi himself, not a government worker, nothing. Who takes ill? The government evacuates him. They have refused to evacuate civil servants in that country, senior civil servants who have all died there. They evacuate him, he dies, they bring back his corpse, and I suspect they are trying to give him a state funeral. Why? Namjoya died. He was many others have died. I didn't see any opposition leader giving that of treatment. And above all, if we look at our forefathers, the Endelis, the Funchas, the Munas, who I don't remember anyone, for example, who had a house full in Yaoundé. The other one to live in Yaoundé was by circumstances. E.T. Igwe. He lived there because he was working for the government and they gave him a house. He lived there until he died. Even when he took ill, he sought evacuation. He was not given one, he died there. So how do you think this man is one of us? This is, I don't know where anybody knows any house standing in Bamanda, senior place is in Bamanda, called Foncha's house. Or call even Mona's house. So is this man one of us? I don't think so. And so
Yeah, and
we
you
should
are.
rightly call him an enemy to us and a friend to the enemy. Let him get that's what he wished. He wished to be buried there. He was treated there. The only thing that was left of Foncha, that that we saw a few days ago, but it was not yesterday. They built a statue in Douala for Foncha. Where is that thing today? They pull it down. They pull it down, dragged it there. Foncha is not the only man. What they call him? Frundi is not the only man who died. Chimindere just died in Boyade. His son was also Ndele, no? He was an architect of this state. Who buried him? Yes, they buried Ngwafa. Yes. They buried Mokete. Yes. But this way, they were buried in their capacity as members of the party. So whether they're using government money or not, we know that in Cameroon, there's no difference between the treasury of the state and the treasury of the CPDM. So on what
Mhm.
basis, on what status was it let uh, Mr. Frundi giving all this red carpet treatment?
These
Again,
privileges. Those
yes,
are some of the things we're going to get into as
he
we
never
progress in
he
the
never stood up
discussion.
for us. He never stood up for us. There's no reason for us to stand up for him when he's no longer there. Let his brothers, his sisters, his friends go bury him where he wished. He left the people of Bamanda to die, to suffer and die while he goes to
Yeah, yeah,
safety
yeah, but
in
listen,
Yaoundé.
we're going to get into how
So thank
Ambazonians
you.
should react.
That's my little contribution for now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll get, and I think there was no better way for us to have commenced this discussion other than having you give this interlude.